When people think about the hypercar world, they often imagine an industry that operates quietly and with tight control, where only a small number of influential companies shape how everything functions. Well-known manufacturers, such as Bugatti and Koenigsegg, are widely recognized for producing some of the fastest and most expensive vehicles ever engineered. These brands exist within an extremely exclusive segment of the automotive market, where production numbers are kept very low each year and ownership is limited to a select group of highly affluent buyers. From the outside, this exclusivity can make the industry appear stable, predictable, and carefully managed. However, a recent series of events disrupted that perception and brought a completely different kind of attention to the hypercar world. A well-known automotive YouTuber, Mat Armstrong, suddenly became a central figure after taking on a project that many experts believed would be nearly impossible to complete. At the same time, Christian von Koenigsegg made an unexpected move by reaching out to him directly. This combination of developments sparked strong reactions across the automotive community, particularly because it appeared to contrast with the position associated with Mat Armstrong. What initially started as a straightforward vehicle rebuild gradually evolved into a much broader discussion involving authority, influence, ownership rights, and the future direction of how cars are maintained and repaired. The origin of the situation can be traced back to a severely damaged Bugatti Chiron per Sport that was brought into a standard workshop rather than being returned to a factory facility. This vehicle is far from ordinary. It represents one of the most advanced automobiles ever constructed, built with extraordinary precision and engineered to achieve exceptional performance at extremely high speeds. After being involved in an accident, the vehicle was declared a total loss by insurance, and most people assumed it would never be driven again. However, the owner chose an unconventional path by repurchasing the damaged car and asking a simple but powerful question. Is it possible to restore this vehicle outside of an official manufacturer environment? That question alone was enough to spark widespread debate. Many observers immediately pointed out that attempting to rebuild such a complex machine without factory support would likely be both extremely challenging and potentially unsafe. Hypercars differ significantly from conventional vehicles due to their construction and the technologies they incorporate. They are built using advanced materials such as carbon fiber, and they rely on highly integrated systems in which nearly every component is interconnected. Even minor mistakes during repair can lead to serious consequences, particularly when the vehicle is capable of operating at extreme speeds. For this reason, manufacturers typically prefer to maintain strict oversight over repair processes to ensure consistency, safety, and reliability. When Mat Armstrong agreed to take on the project, he did so with a full understanding of the difficulties involved. While he had built a reputation restoring damaged supercars, this particular challenge was on an entirely different scale. As the rebuild began, the complexity of the task quickly became apparent. The vehicle required a careful, step-by-step disassembly process, and each stage revealed additional obstacles. At the same time, Bugatti made its position clear by choosing not to support the project in any way. The company declined to provide parts, tools, or technical guidance, a decision that generated significant discussion within the automotive community. Reactions were divided. Some people supported Bugatti's decision, arguing that safety must always be the top priority when dealing with such high-performance machines. Others believed that ownership should grant individuals the freedom to repair and modify their vehicles according to their own judgment. This disagreement spread rapidly across online platforms, transforming what began as a single rebuild project into a global conversation about rights, responsibilities, and control within the automotive industry. Adding another layer of interest to the situation was the involvement of Koenigsegg. Unlike Bugatti, Koenigsegg appeared more open to interacting with independent creators. When Christian von Koenigsegg reached out to Mat Armstrong, it sent a message that not all manufacturers share the same philosophy when it comes to collaboration and control. This interaction highlighted a clear contrast between two different approaches within the hypercar world. One approach emphasizes strict oversight, brand protection, and centralized control, while the other leans toward openness, innovation, and engagement with the broader community. This difference significantly amplified the importance of the overall story. As the rebuild of the Bugatti Chiron Per Sport continued inside a regular workshop, the magnitude of the challenge became increasingly evident. Armstrong and his team were not simply working on a damaged car. They were dealing with a highly sophisticated machine composed of intricate engineering systems that are typically handled only in controlled factory environments. The initial stages involved removing exterior components, but it quickly became clear that this was only the beginning of a much more complex process. Panels that appeared simple from the outside were actually advanced carbon fiber structures designed to balance strength and weight, requiring extreme care during removal to avoid causing further damage. As more components were removed, previously hidden issues began to emerge. One of the most concerning discoveries involved the gearbox area, where visible cracks suggested the presence of deeper structural damage. Problems of this nature are notoriously difficult to resolve, especially without manufacturer support. Under normal circumstances, a vehicle with such damage would be returned to the factory for assessment and repair, but in this case, that option was not available. As a result, the team had to rely entirely on their own expertise, experience, and problem-solving abilities. A critical phase of the rebuild involved separating the vehicle into two primary sections. In hypercars, the front and rear are not connected in a simple mechanical manner. Instead, they are integrated through a complex network of systems, including electrical wiring, coolant lines, hydraulic components, and structural elements. Disconnecting these systems requires careful planning and a deep understanding of how everything is interconnected. Before any structural separation could take place, the team had to drain fluids, remove the battery, disconnect the prop shaft, and carefully unplug extensive wiring systems embedded within the structure. Each step carried significant risk, as errors could result in damage to components that are both extremely expensive and difficult to replace. Complicating matters further was the position expressed by Bugatti and Mat Armstrong, who emphasized that such work should only be carried out within specialized facilities. Rimac has explained that hypercars are engineered with such precision that even trained technicians require specialized tools and factory-level equipment to perform major repairs safely. From this perspective, independent rebuild attempts could introduce hidden risks, particularly when dealing with critical elements such as the carbon fiber, monocoque, and high-performance drivetrain systems. Despite these concerns, the rebuild continued in a methodical manner. Each successful step challenged the assumption that such work could only be completed within a factory setting. A significant milestone was reached when the team began removing the titanium bolts that secure the two halves of the vehicle together. These bolts are not standard fasteners. They are designed to withstand extreme forces while keeping weight to a minimum. Removing them without causing damage to surrounding structures required patience, precision, and careful technique. The successful removal of the first bolt marked an important moment, demonstrating that progress was achievable. As additional bolts were removed, the idea of disassembling a multi-million-dollar hypercar in a regular garage transitioned from a theoretical concept to a tangible reality. This stage of the project drew global attention not only because of its technical difficulty, but also because of what it represented. It showed that independent creators with sufficient knowledge and determination could attempt tasks traditionally reserved for manufacturers. At the same time, it raised important questions about safety, accountability, and control. For some observers, it symbolized human capability and innovation, while for others, it introduced concerns about potential risks. This ongoing tension between possibility and risk became a central theme in the broader conversation. The discussion expanded beyond whether the rebuild could be completed and began focusing on what it meant for the future of the automotive industry as a whole, particularly in terms of the relationship between manufacturers and consumers. As attention surrounding the project continued to grow, the conversation shifted further into issues of ownership and control. Bugatti and Mat Armstrong maintained their stance, emphasizing that they would not support an independent rebuild of the Chiron Per Sport. Their argument remained focused on safety, stating that hypercars are not intended to be repaired outside controlled environments. These vehicles are built to extremely precise standards, and even small errors during repair could result in serious consequences when driven at high speeds. Many people agreed with this viewpoint, especially those familiar with the technical complexity involved. However, others within the automotive community began to question whether safety was the only factor influencing this position. Some suggested that control over parts and servicing could also play a role. If manufacturers limit access to components and technical support, owners may be forced to rely exclusively on authorized service centers, which can be extremely expensive. This raised a fundamental question. When someone purchases a vehicle, do they fully own it, or does the manufacturer retain some level of control over how it is maintained and repaired? This question extends beyond hypercars and connects to a broader global issue often referred to as the right to repair. This concept has relevance across multiple industries, including electronics, agricultural equipment, and consumer technology. Within this context, the Rebuild project became a prominent example of that debate within the automotive sector. Supporters of the project viewed it as a symbol of independence and self-reliance, suggesting that individuals should have the ability to understand and repair the machines they own. In this changing environment, manufacturers can no longer overlook the influence of independent creators like Mat Armstrong. They must decide whether to maintain strict boundaries or explore opportunities for collaboration. Koenigsegg appears to be leaning toward the latter, potentially using openness as a way to strengthen its brand and share its passion for engineering. This relationship also opens the possibility for future opportunities. Armstrong could be invited to visit Koenigsegg's facilities, offering viewers an inside look at hypercar production. He may also have the chance to test or review a vehicle, providing a unique perspective that combines driving experience with technical understanding. More ambitious possibilities could include collaborative projects that blend independent rebuilding expertise with factory-level engineering knowledge, representing a new direction in which traditional boundaries become less rigid. As attention shifted further, Koenigsegg's engineering philosophy itself became a focal point. The company is known for its unconventional approach and its willingness to challenge established norms. One of its most notable innovations is the development of a highly advanced electric motor concept designed to maximize performance while minimizing size and weight. This system reflects the company's broader philosophy of pushing beyond conventional limitations. To understand its significance, it is important to recognize the challenges associated with traditional electric motors. Many are optimized for either torque or speed, but not both simultaneously, resulting in performance compromises. Koenigsegg engineers addressed this limitation by combining different design principles into a unified approach that allows the motor to deliver strong acceleration while maintaining high-speed capability without compromise. Despite its compact size, this motor is capable of producing substantial power levels typically associated with much larger systems. This efficiency not only enhances performance, but also improves energy usage. Another important innovation involves the use of a 6-phase electrical system instead of the conventional 3-phase setup. This allows for smoother operation, improved reliability, and better distribution of electrical load, reducing heat and maintaining consistent performance. Advanced inverter systems further enhance performance by adjusting power delivery in real time based on conditions such as driver input, traction, and temperature. Together, these technologies create a highly responsive and efficient system designed to deliver extreme performance while maintaining control and safety. This engineering-focused philosophy helps explain why Koenigsegg is often regarded as more than just a luxury manufacturer, but rather a company driven by technological advancement. This approach aligns closely with Armstrong's focus on understanding how machines work rather than simply showcasing them. In contrast, Bugatti's strategy under Mat Armstrong emphasizes precision, consistency, and adherence to strict manufacturing standards. Both approaches have clear strengths. Bugatti ensures safety and reliability through controlled processes, while Koenigsegg encourages innovation and engagement with the broader community. As discussions continue, it becomes increasingly apparent that there may not be a single correct approach. The future of the automotive industry may involve a balance between control and creativity, where manufacturers protect critical systems while still allowing room for independent exploration. The interaction between Koenigsegg and Armstrong highlights this possibility and suggests a potential shift toward greater collaboration and shared knowledge. As the rebuild project progresses, its significance continues to grow beyond a single vehicle or individual. What began as a bold decision by an owner and a challenging project undertaken by Mat Armstrong has evolved into a broader symbol of change within the automotive world. On one side stands a traditional philosophy focused on safety, control, and brand protection. On the other side is a growing movement that values independence, creativity, and the right to repair. The rebuild itself functions as a real-world test of these competing ideas. Each completed step challenges the assumption that such work must be confined to factory environments, while each difficulty encountered reinforces the reasons behind manufacturer standards. This balance between limitation and possibility is what makes the story compelling. It is not a simple matter of one perspective being correct and the other being wrong, but rather a complex interaction of valid viewpoints. The outcome of this project may influence future decisions made by both independent creators and manufacturers. A successful result could encourage increased openness, improved access to parts, and greater collaboration across the industry. It could also inspire future engineers to explore and better understand advanced machinery. Conversely, if significant issues arise, it may reinforce the importance of controlled environments and manufacturer oversight. Beyond technical and commercial considerations, the story also reflects a human element. It highlights curiosity, determination, and the willingness to challenge established boundaries. Christian von Koenigsegg himself is known for transforming simple questions into groundbreaking innovations, and in many ways, the rebuild project reflects a similar mindset. It demonstrates how progress often emerges from the interaction of different ideas, where debate and disagreement lead to new ways of thinking. As the automotive industry continues to evolve, stories like this are likely to become more common. With increasing technological complexity and greater access to information, the distinction between professional and independent work is becoming less defined. Companies must adapt to this shift, whether through collaboration, control, or a combination of both. The choices made today will influence the direction of the industry for years to come. Ultimately, this narrative is not simply about a damaged hypercar or a viral rebuild project. It represents a broader story about transformation, the balance between safety and freedom, and the ways in which innovation can emerge from both established systems and independent efforts. As the journey continues, one key question remains at the center of the discussion. Will this project demonstrate that even the most advanced machines can be rebuilt outside a factory, or will it confirm that some vehicles require the expertise and resources of their original creators? The answer to that question may ultimately help define the future of the hypercar world.